Hi everyone, it's Dr. Sigmon. We're on week 4, right in the middle of the semester. When you finish this week, you'll be halfway through the course. So we got lots of great topics this week, more that I love, sorry. But lots of interesting things for you to learn about. Cell reproduction is one, how cells divide. There are there are 3 basic ways that cells reproduce. Bacteria just divide in half. Eukaryotic cells either go through mitosis, which is a copying of a cell into 2 daughter cells, or meiosis, where sex cells are being produced. So those are the different ways that cells reproduce. Inheritance, you're going to have a tiny bit of that. That's more chapter 9. And you don't even have to read chapter 9, so you'll just have a little bit of inheritance. And some biotechnology, how technology is being used to solve biological problems in the world. And I apologize, I may be coughing during this and try to get a drink as I go. So applications of these topics. First I have on my list personalized and precision medicine. So what in the world is this? This is taking your DNA and looking at specifically your DNA to see what diseases you might have in your family history in your DNA, not just written out, oh, Aunt so-and-so has diabetes, you know. This is looking to see which disease genes you have in your DNA, which medicines you might be allergic to, which medicines you may be able to tolerate very well. This is precision medicine, or also called personalized medicine. This is happening now. At this point in time, it only costs about $1,000 to sequence a person's DNA. And you have to realize when the Human Genome Project first started, it cost millions of dollars to sequence a person's DNA. Now we're at the $1,000 mark. And so your doctor will order you to have your DNA sequenced. You'll carry that information around on a chip on your health card, your insurance card. Any physician will be able to plug it into a computer, and they'll be able to do a search to find out information about you through your DNA. And this will help them treat you better. That's why it's called personalized medicine, because they're taking a look specifically at your DNA to figure out how best to treat you. This is literally around the corner. I'm saying in 5 years it will be a thing that you will have heard of, and you'll probably have a card. If not 5 years, definitely 10 years. GMOs are also on the list. This is part of biotechnology. So what does GMO stand for? Genetically modified organism. So you have an organism and its DNA has been manipulated somehow. This is a hot topic in the world today. So many people are saying, well, I don't want to eat any GMOs. The only problem with that is, at some point, some crop that's in that plant that is in your food has probably been genetically modified, because many crop plants have been. What do you mean by genetically modified, though? You take a plant or you take an animal, and the scientists figure out ways to change the genes in that plant or animal, to change it in some way to help us. So it can increase the crop production, the crop yield. It can allow a plant to be sprayed with a herbicide and not die. That's the Roundup resistant genes that are in some crop plants. It may increase nutritional value, like golden rice. In golden rice, the vitamin A genes have been inserted into these rice plants, and so they produce vitamin A, and this is very beneficial for cultures across the globe that are low in vitamin A, and they have a hard time finding and eating foods that are rich in vitamin A. You can put new genes or modified genes in chickens or beef cattle to up the amount of protein that's being made and lower the amount of fat. There's so many things that are being done with organisms, especially food, plants, and animals, to help us And yes, I know there's a lot of controversy about this, but I want you to think about it this way. All organisms contain DNA. Okay? They all contain DNA. We're modifying them in a lab. Okay, that sounds like killer tomatoes like I've got up here on the right-hand side of the screen. Ah, oh no, the tomatoes are going to attack me and kill me because they're GMOs. No, that's not how it works. And in fact, I wanted to show you in my example down at the bottom of the screen that we have been doing this. We have been modifying organisms since we figured out how to cultivate plants and breed animals. We've been doing it. My example is a Labradoodle, which I bet all of you have heard of and you've probably all seen. We just selectively bred two different subspecies of dogs, the Labrador Retriever and the Poodle, to get something called a Labradoodle. Okay, that is genetically modifying an organism. We select for those puppies that have that curly hair but have the disposition of a Labrador Retriever and the obedience of a Labrador Retriever. That's a Labradoodle. So see, we've been genetically modifying organisms even up until today just by breeding practices. So don't freak out when you hear GMO. And read more about it. Oops, I see I left off a number. For the chapters this week, you're going to read chapters 8 and 10. So that's not a 1, that's a 10. Somehow I missed the 0. Chapter 8 is on cell reproduction and 10 is on a lot of biotechnology. So for the discussion this week, you're going to find an example of genetic engineering in agriculture. Okay, these are all the GMOs. That's pretty easy to search for. Or medicine. How do we genetically engineer in medicine? We're trying to cure diseases by genetically engineering cells in people. And so hopefully this will help us in the very near future. If you're interested in medicine, if you're in medical coding or criminal justice, something like that, you might want to do genetic engineering in medicine. If you're more like toward botany, plants, outdoor nature, you might look at GMOs. Also, you're going to be considering ethical implications for changing the genetics of organisms. And there are some that we should consider. There was a scientist in China in the past year who said that he produced twin girls that he had modified their DNA through a system of enzymes called CRISPR, and the whole world was absolutely in shock. Like, you're doing this in people now, and babies have been born, and you changed their genes. So there are tremendous ethical implications for all of this, and they have to be considered. Our ethical implications are not keeping track with the technology and the research, so we've got to get on board quickly here. So you'll be examining that and talking about that in the discussion. We should have lots of discussion on that part. Your writing assignment this week is on the purpose and the history of the Human Genome Project, which is very exciting. That was finished in 2003, and that's where human DNA was sequenced for the first time. And you might think, well, what's the big deal about that? You're going to find out because you're going to look up the purpose of it. What are the benefits of knowing this information? What human DNA exactly looks like, what the bases in the human DNA looks like. Remember, there are only 4 letters in the human DNA alphabet. A, T, G, C, adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine. There are only 4 letters, so it's the arrangement of these letters that makes us human beings. So what are the benefits of knowing this? What are the drawbacks of knowing this? Some of this has to do back to that personalized precision medicine. That definitely could be a benefit. Implications of knowing this information. Is it all good? Is it all good to know this information? Is it bad sometimes? Could this be harmful to know this information? Could it be used against people? So here are some things to consider. And then finally, you have quiz 4. Don't forget about your quizzes every week. Also on those discussions, remember you have an initial discussion post due on Sunday nights and 2 response posts due by Tuesday night. So don't forget that. Your deadlines are normally Tuesday midnight except for that initial discussion post. And as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email message, and I'll be having my office hours on Sunday nights. And I'm available otherwise. Just contact me and we'll figure out how to answer your questions. Other than that, I hope you have a great week, and I hope you have some fun reading up on these topics because they're all in the news these days. And they're really important for you to understand because they're going to affect you personally. Personalized medicine, yeah, it's right around the corner, and it's definitely going to affect you. So I hope you enjoy this week, and I hope you enjoy the topics that you're learning about. So have a good week, and I'll be talking to you soon. Bye.